Hello, hello, everyone. It is time to tap into the abundant energy of the new moon in Taurus. Not only that, but we have Mars in Leo, a very direct Mercury, and a Jupiter ingressing into Taurus. That is the celebration that we have been waiting for. And you have joined Red Pill Astrology, where we approach astrology for what it is, a tool to help us navigate energy, and we bring that tool to you in a digestible manner 3 times per month. And this time we are harnessing this potent combination of cosmic forces. And we're going to talk about like manifesting our dreams into reality, because why not? Like, why would we not want to do that? Right, sis? Why would we not?
Exactly.
Let's get the quick hit out of the way. So, daily dose. If you are not in, you need to be in. Why aren't you in? Speaking of manifesting your dreams into reality, you can do that really simply by joining the daily dose. We've got a monthly option, $44 per month. That's it. That's it. Or you can save a little bit of money, do 3 months in a row for 111. And what you get is a community capsule. It is a WhatsApp capsule where you get both of, wait, this way. This is like yoga teachers training all over again.
Yep.
Both of us in your back pocket on the WhatsApp capsule talking about the daily aspects in astrology. And we drop all kinds of gems in there.
Yeah.
We do all kinds of things.
You never know what's going to come out because
You never know. Yeah, that is absolute facts.
Just like you experience here.
you never know.
We love it.
And the last quick hit that we have is a new segment alert. We will be starting the re-up in June. That is going to be where we will be going live, coming and talking about the kind of all of the things that happened the month prior and how those align to astrology. So that could be news, that could be like big things happening, personal things happening. So we are going to be starting that in June. So you don't want to miss out. That is why you should wait for it. Bam, subscribe, turn on alerts, like, and share, because that's how you're going to know when new things pop up around here. All right. Let's give Mercury his due. He was already playing around with us earlier. He was already doing his thing. Like, what? You weren't going to talk about all of this? Okay.
Yeah. Mercury is stationing direct on May 14th at 5 degrees 51 minutes in Taurus. And I feel like there's just been, I mean, maybe it's just me and where I'm at in my process, but it hasn't been like, I feel like Mercury retrograde allowed for the energetic slowdown of time that I feel like was actually what was needed. It allowed for our mental to catch up with our body and for us to kind of like, okay, like there's some,
and ground in.
Yeah, like let's feel into all of this. And rather than the whole first 4 months of the year, it was
fucking go time.
Yeah, fast forward. So
yeah, and a lot of reassessments, like a bunch of like, even though there was no retrogrades, it felt very like, okay, I've got to go and like look at all these things, and I've got to create all these things, and I got to redo all these things. I think we've like, I know for me in HabitualSages, I've like redone branding 18 times and no planets were in retrograde. And it's just that I can totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it was a nice retrograde. I don't think like,
I love Mercury retrograde in general because it does give you that time and that space. And like what I really like about how Mercury is going through this retrograde in Earth, bringing in all of the things, is when it stations direct, it's going to be 2 days before Jupiter. That's a big thing.
Well, and I think the biggest part of this Mercury retrograde is that it is covering the same degrees as Jupiter's, which I feel like was
retrograde in the summertime.
Yeah, Jupiter's retrograde. So I feel
Yep.
like this is like, that was not that it's not important, but like it was like this like mental area, like who are you when things aren't moving? Who are you when you have to sit in your mind? Who are you when this is over cluttered and overstimulated? What can you simplify in the mental space to create the room that Jupiter is going to require for the actualization of the blessings? So
Because like Jupiter is going to expand your perspective.
mm-hmm.
And that's really great because Mercury has been very fixed focused, right? You got your blinders on, you're focused forward. And Jupiter is going to come in and just, here's all of this. And that Mercury, thankfully, is going to be direct. Granted, he'll still be in his shadow, but he is going to be able then to take all of those details and sort them and be able to like, okay, I get where this needs to go, or I know where this needs to fit.
And I guess, and he's also doing it in a way of, in a space of clarity, because the retrograde has allowed for this is working, this isn't working, etc. So now you're like, okay, we took out the mental trash.
Yeah, I love that.
The mental,
That's gonna be it.
physical trash, because with Jupiter coming into this space, he doesn't care what he's touching. He's expanding it. He's not even identifying what it is before he expands. So if you were using this time and not clearing the mental clutter, that clutter is going to get more
expanded.
And that's, my friend, is on you.
Yeah. That is going to be the best clip. This is going to be the best clip off of this.
We almost didn't even talk about this.
I know. And this is the gift of listening, right? Like, oh, nope. Okay. We hear you. Thank you for being present. We will definitely, and boom, here we go. We got magic. The other thing is this is going to be conjunct when he stations the North Node. And that to me is all towards purpose. Right? Like whatever you're doing, the trash that you're not taking out or the trash that you are taking out, all of that is either clearing or congesting your path and purpose.
Yep.
So there you go. All right. New moon. Boom. Oh, look, what I wrote down was, it's not my word, but I was so excited. I was like, woo-wee. That's what I wrote down at first. And I'm like, no, we'll get a word. But I'm very excited about this new moon in Taurus. And I'm excited about this. Really, for me, it's this middle section of May that I'm getting really juiced about. So new moon in Taurus, 28 degrees, 25 minutes. It will happen 5:19 at 10:53 a.m. Central or 8:53 Pacific. It is, well, we'll get into it. We've got Mars, we've got Neptune in the sextile with the moon. It's a trine to Pluto in Aquarius. We've got the chart. We'll get into that. I'll tell you my word first.
Tell the word.
Budding.
I love
budding. So I knew what I wanted to say with budding was that, like, being able to grow like little plants budding, right? But I was just so drawn, like, go look up what the word what it actually means, the definition. And there's many different terms for budding or definitions depending upon what you're talking about. But what I found really interesting was, from a biology standpoint, and I'm totally taking this from the Google searches, from a biology standpoint, it's a form of asexual reproduction in which new individuals form from outgrowths or buds on the bodies of mature organisms. These buds grow by cell division and may separate or remain attached to the parent. And I loved that for this moon, because it really is like standing on the shoulders of giants, standing on the shoulders of strong Taurians, standing on the shoulders of the bull, to be able to continue to bring forth harvest and bud, getting all of this maturity and nurturing in there. So that was my word. Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's get this.
While you're doing that, I'm going to set up my light.
Cool. Getting the moon on stream. And let me go here. Let's bring this down once again with the 0 degree AC. I love it.
Okay. Oh, amazing. Let's see.
Yay.
Let there be light. Okay.
All right. So here is the chart for the new moon. Tell me where you want me to start drawing. We're going to use greens because this is just such a Taurus.
Can you only use the highlighter thing and just...
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Where do you want to start?
Sun and the moon.
Bam.
28 degrees. 28 degrees. 25 minutes of Taurus. Almost at the end. And again, this is a new moon, guys. Remember, the last new moon started a new cycle. So we are now the new moon in Aries, which was the second new moon of Aries, created this energetic shift of us now moving into full moons at the onset of signs, or first, and then ending the season with the new moon.
Yes.
Happening until I think it's November 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So this is moving us into this. Anyway, so we've been talking about that. So if you haven't heard about it,
go check out one of the other videos.
We've already talked about that. There's Mercury retrograde. Like, okay, so how do we simplify, right? So right here we have, okay, 28 degrees. We have Pluto retrograde. We are going to want to look to Taurus Venus, because she is the ruler of the moon. She's at 12 degrees.
Right here.
Of Cancer. She's moving pretty quick. I love that Mars is at 29 degrees of Cancer. I mean, the sun and the moon are almost right at that 29 degree point as well. They're not quite there. However, there's an ending energy here. There's a shift here. We have Jupiter 0 degrees, Pluto 0 degrees, Mars final degree, like massive changes coming into the realm with this, like budding, new birthing, something new being born. I mean, I love that this new moon is at the end of the Taurus season, and it's right before we move into Gemini, and we get to, like, because there's such opportunity for manifestation with the communication of things, and like utilizing and how, okay, like that informational energy. And this is really supportive. I mean, Pluto here, that trine Pluto's making to the sun and the moon, giving so much support. Yes, he might be retrograde, but like he's still, that's even more. I mean, it just is what it is, right? He's still squaring the North Node and the South Node. He's still in conversation with both of them, and reminding us of our importance of like, this is purposeful. This is purposeful. I mean, we have a freaking grand, we have a crop, we have a grand,
right here.
Yeah. Can't really say
grand square,
because Mars is not quite in
Leo yet. Leo. It's applying. We'll call it applying.
Yeah, but I mean, this is such a beautiful energy of support, of structure, of really giving ourselves this opportunity to build solid foundations of self-trust, Taurus energy of grounding us into our home, of grounding us into our senses, into our body, like letting us like like, yeah, like what you've been moving through up until this point, like it's real,
Mm-hmm.
it's true, but like, where do you want to be beyond that? Like, who are you without those stories? And yeah.
Or rewriting your story. And what I love when you said foundation, look at the square, right? Like
Yeah.
that is the solid, like you can build your house off of this.
Mm-hmm.
That is what this, and again, it's that accumulation point. That is what this new moon is bringing in. It's that, again, that budding, but it's building your home off of this for the future, for the long term,
Yeah.
playing in the long term realm, not in the short term. This is the house that you will be living in for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you want it to turn out? What do you want it to look like? How do you want it to? I mean, this is where the creation gets really, really good and really, really fun, is creating all of those pieces of, well, where do I want my kitchen to be? How do I want it to look? What do I want my flooring? And beginning to like really develop into that and nurture that budding seed of your entire, like, the from this moment forward for your whole life, nurturing yourself, nurturing those pieces of you that need to be able to grow and be strong. And to, because again, I keep Venus being the ruler of this moon. This is that 28-degree point. We're almost into Gemini. Venus is going to be heading into Leo after this and doing her retrograde there. And this is that preparation for that. Okay, we've got a lot of things coming in. Now Venus is going to head into Leo. What is she going to do there? What is she going to do for you there? That's a big question.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and what's interesting as well is we have the sextile from Mars to the sun and the moon, as well as Neptune sextile to the
Right
sun and the moon.
here and right here.
Yeah. And that's like providing a lot of spiritual, like stamina is the word that's coming, a lot of
Oh, I love
spiritual
that word.
knowing, to assist in that push through of like, how you want your home to feel like,
Mm-hmm.
when it's not right. You have like that intuition is so heightened. Mars also trining Neptune, and these two energies just having this entire spiritual conversation. Neptune getting the trine from Pluto, sextile from Pluto. I mean, Neptune, like, he's the one. He's
Mm-hmm.
bringing us back into, like, and we have to remember as well, Neptune, the energy of our higher self.
Mm-hmm.
And in this Piscean water in his home of like, I'm here, like, this is like, don't forget, guys, like, it's going to be a while until I come back here. And granted, I still have some time here. However, like, let's use me. Like,
Right.
I want, as much as like, I don't really want to be like, I have no problem avoiding Neptunian energy. No problem avoiding.
Neptunian energy in Piscean energy.
No problem
No
avoiding.
problem.
However, awareness of the impact, awareness of the responsibility, right? Like, because there could be an energy of avoidance because of how much responsibility it will require.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is, yes, there's like blessings abound, grounding available, but yet like ground down, but connect.
Yeah.
Like, ground in, like, ground in what you are connected with and what is coming in from beyond, because lots of opportunity for that to really move through you. In this energy is the Saturn still having the trine to the south node, now like starting to move further away from it. Yeah, and that's giving that sense of deeper support and like in trust, spiritual trust, that the structures that are falling are necessary so these new ones can be
built.
Mm-hmm.
With Neptune, the mermaids, mer people, very, very rarely have a reason to come up from the depths of the ocean, right? Like that's why there's lore about them. There's like fantasy about them, right? It's why they're in that mythological sort of perspective, because it does take a lot for them to come up and needing to come up to the surface. And that, what you just said reminded me of that, of this is a reason to come up to the surface. You are a reason to come up to the surface. Nurturing and building this whole square, this whole foundation is a reason to come up to the surface. And like that Neptune, Mars, and Venus, all of this water, like, first of all, this is mer people water. Let's just start there, right? Like it's magic water. And then you've got Mars and Venus and Cancer having that ocean water, which creates rain. It has all of these cycles with it. Bringing those two together to water your foundation, water and nurture what you've planted. Yeah. Think about what that's like Jack and the Beanstalk shit right there, right? Like, look at how high my beanstalk is going to grow.
Especially with Jupiter conjunct the North Node.
In Taurus. Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. And the last thing that I had with this was the Pluto retrograde. That to me, I love that he is retrograde here, because this is whatever needs to be reworked, right? Whatever this nurturing, whatever this foundation, whatever things you had set in stone, but then let's say you wanted marble countertops and all of a sudden there's a shortage on marble. That's what Pluto's going to be helping with, is like what needs to be reworked in here.
Yeah.
Maybe we do want concrete floors because that makes more sense for the long term. Okay, cool. So he can really provide that support, and all of this, like, I am super excited about this middle, because this is just the start. We talked about all of this. You know, you see this square here. There is a T square that happens on 520, a 0 degree T square, which is literally blowing my mind. And that's what, like, that's the most exciting part to me in this middle part of May. And that's also why you need to get into the daily dose, because we're not going to talk about that T square here. We're dropping it to tell you, if you are like, oh, what is this T square going to be about? That is where you need to go into the daily dose, because all of that will, I'm so jazzed. Do you see how excited I am?
So excited.
I'm very excited about this. So make sure you are in there. All right, let's go ahead and hide this. And dun 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 dun. Oh, wait. I forgot. I got reactions. Hold on. Let's drum roll. Oh, that wasn't a drum roll. Well, let me go.
A laugh.
Yeah. Air horn, maybe?
No.
Oh. That's our pass.
That does not sound the word.
That is not very Jupiter in Taurus. Yeah. We need to figure something else out. All right. We have got Jupiter in Taurus happening 5/16. So Mercury stations direct, Jupiter goes into Taurus, the new moon comes right after. And then the last thing that we'll round out with is Mars and Leo for this episode. But let's talk about Jupiter and Taurus.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's just remember Jupiter has been moving through Aries.
Yes.
You know, and that great expander of our drive, motivation, the warrior energy, the fighter within us, right? And you know, like the temperament things and passion and all of that. And now moving into Taurus, there's an energetic slowdown. There is a little bit of a like there's a shift. There's a shift. Yeah. I feel like that's like such an interesting transition, Aries to Taurus, right?
It's like the warrior coming home from being on campaign for, let's just call it like a year. Like he has been away from home for a year, at war, active, right? Like I have been sleeping in the mud, boots in the sand, all of the things. And then I come home, and that transition between it just so reminds me, and thank you to all service members out there, first and foremost, but it reminds me of service members coming home from serving overseas,
Yeah.
right? It's that, how do I now integrate back into home? How do I now
Yeah.
integrate back into a civilian life and things of that nature?
Yeah. Yeah. And Jupiter, the expander, the optimizer, that which you know, it's about freedom, travel, expanding experiences, and Taurus energy. It's expanding the home. It's expanding the home within the self, the senses, um, your sense of security. It's going to highlight your values that we have been hounding into you for this
4 months.
year to get clear on them. So if you haven't yet,
Please do so. Because again, Jupiter doesn't discriminate. Jupiter has no discrimination. He just
and
makes
yes,
shit big.
it's
That's
just
all
like,
he does.
I am just seeing it's like, I'm here. It's like I just walked in the door. It's even maybe even like that. It's maybe not even the sense of like, yes, the serviceman coming home, but like the dog greeting at the door. It's chaos. Kids running up, like, oh my God. And then it's like, you actually, if you might not actually get to settle, it actually could be like this whole holy shit.
Yep.
There is like,
Here
and
we
it's
grow.
here we are. And so let's just take up, like, there's so many things to do, so much time to catch up on. You know, and there's a space of so if you haven't grounded into your values, it's gonna be like, oh, there's boundless energy over there. Like, there's no restrictions over here. There's going to be a gravitational pull to that which is not restricted. Taurus energy has no problem like being restricted or like just not tied down, but yeah. Like, Jupiter
But yes,
does not want to be tied down in any sort of the way. So if you don't have the structures in place to give him where he needs to expand, chaos
abound. Chaos abound.
Yeah.
So Jupiter is going to be in Taurus, and this is why, to me, this is really exciting, because he's not retrograding back into Aries. He is a solo journey in Taurus until May 26, 2024. So this is potent time. He went zippy fucking quickie through Aries. So you had to catch that energy quickly, and that's that, like, yes, we're going to get in, and yes, it's going to come in and ground, and it might halt, or it might be more chaotic, or it might be whatever, right? All of these options are available, but know that he's here for that long haul. He is going to be here for a moment. And looking to boundaries, this Saturn has no boundaries either in Pisces.
I'm like, boundaries.
Boundaries.
Like, that sounds great.
Yeah. And it's true though, because right now Saturn is kind of left in Saturn world in Pisces. And that is the flowing of boundaries, right? Like, wait a minute, boundaries are kind of loose, right? Like they can be whatever, right? Like we can channel water however we want, right? Like we can do that. But because now Jupiter is in Taurus, which Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, that can be a really cool supportive conversation that they can have with each other. So if Saturn in Pisces like has really been messing with you, or it's been like this whole other realm in your chart where you're like, whoa, hold on a second. There is some structure here that can come in, because where do you go for your boundaries if they're like just going off the wall? You go to Saturn. So there can be this nice conversation, at least hopefully. All depends upon your natal chart, obviously.
Yeah. And your perspective.
Yeah. What else I did write down this, the delight of being human in the world. Like having the delight of being human, understanding that dude, we're pretty, again, we just talked about this. We're pretty fucking amazing. Like, we are pretty fucking amazing. Humans are kind of cool. Like, look at all of, like, if you really
You
sat
are
down and
in
just
body right now. Do you want to know something cool? When I was in college, we had a Facebook group called the In Body Crew. Like, and this is like, I
oh
think
my
I
God,
ended
I
up giving
love
away the
it.
permissions for it because I was like, oh my God, Simone. But it was like, it was literally these conversations really high, stoned.
Yeah.
Weed, not like any crazy things, guys. But like just in, like, we'd have conversations and be like, do you realize we're like in body? And I'm like, I thought I was the only one who would think these things. And it was just like the coolest thing. But yeah, like we are freaking in body. And like it's so, oh my God, it's so freaking like I'm thinking, it's working. The whole thing's fucking crazy. Like if you don't look at this, be like, holy shit, I just decided, looked at my hands and they're picked up like no reaction time, like instant nanoseconds, whatever's smaller than that. And just like,
Yeah.
it's a trip.
It is a trip. It's a trip. And that is like, I am so this energy. You can feel it. Like I just feel, I feel good. Things are coming. Things are working themselves out. And then we get this. Mars in Leo.
Oh,
Yes.
so happy.
I am so happy. Please come up in my Leo house and do work, Mars. So he will ingress on 5/20, which is so beautiful. Like this is energy. This is the fire. This is the spark of life. And this is, I keep hearing the word explosion. It's like Mars has been tempered for a really hot minute and it's going to be this explosion. And this was really funny because the image that I got was, this ain't no back seat. Bitch, you're lucky you're in the fucking car because it's a 2-seater. Like, that's what I got. Like, Mars is on the run. He is driving and ain't nobody going to tell him which way to go, period.
Yeah. I mean, and there's so much playful energy with Leo. There's so much creativity available. Romance, like romanticizing. Like, I feel like Mars, after just being in the divine feminine Cancer for so long, I feel like he's gonna move, like it's like this hopefully refined gentleman, or maybe not, but like like just refined divine masculine of like, okay, I have a new appreciation and respect for the divine feminine that I'm going to take into the Leo energy. And, you know, like the hopes that we have, just like we would have with any energy, is for the energies, us included as individual energies, learning from what we have just moved through and grown through. So we take this idea that Mars was just in Cancer for the length of time that he was in, after being in Gemini for the length of time that he was in, and not just moving into Leo, taking on all of Leo like a Leo would, but taking on, bringing in the wisdom of his journey prior. And this is what we do as energies, and humans do the same. Like, this is what we do. So why would we think that they aren't doing that as well?
Yeah.
Like giving the energies the benefit of the doubt, and not just like, okay, well, you're being really reactive and not taking responsibility because Mars is in Leo.
Oh my gosh. On Wednesdays we wear pink, FYI. Like that. For anybody that gets that, that was for you.
I was actually called in high school, I was called a mean girl. And I was like, really?
Get it.
I went to an all girls school. I'm like, how?
Oh my gosh. The other, and that does go, Leo is fixed. Believe me, I know.
And Carden. Never mind.
Fixed. And Mars here, the one
and
thing
wanting to be right. Leo wants to be right.
cannot be wrong. That's exactly what I had down, and fucking opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
Like super opinionated. And that's what you want to, again, that's why you need to lean on, as Monie was just saying, what Mars has learned, because don't get stuck and fixed in your opinions. Be willing, because remember, Jupiter is expanding all kinds of fucking shit right now. So be willing to see those other opinions and take action in ways that you may not have ever taken action before. Remember, this moon, that new moon, is a brand new foundation. Do you want to build your old fucking house, the one that didn't work out for you, or do you want to build your new house? Because I kind of want to be like, I want to keep growing. Like that's my MO, but maybe I'm alone. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Tupac said, "If you're not growing, you're dead." So,
R.I.P. Tupac. Maybe.
And another thing
we
is,
don't know.
like,
We don't know.
Well,
just kidding.
be in peace.
Go for it. Be in peace, sir. Be in peace.
But the Leo energy as well. Taking accountability, you know, and there's an authenticity with this Leo energy, the taking ownership of the stage that you want to be on, claiming it, allowing yourself to be seen, maybe in a bigger regard, but yet can we bring in the humility of the Cancer energy into this Mars Leo transit for our own sake? Because, you know, like, it's okay to admit that you weren't right. Like, It's okay to, like,
failure is part of the process.
It's beautiful to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful to witness yourself in the act of apologizing, and like that whole, like, that's such a humbling process. That submitting, like that, like, yeah, submitting to something beyond you. I'm like, oh, okay, yes, I can see my fault here.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting ride.
And look, Venus is coming right behind, so we get the lovers, most sensual sign out there. And it was funny because
be careful of the babies.
Oh Lord,
if you don't want babies, be careful.
You know what is so funny is, as you were talking about sensuality and everything, I'm like, you know what? This Mars in Leo, if he shows up as Mars in Leo and like in the power, that's like the best fucking head you could ever get. Like, seriously, that is what that is. That is the best head you can ever get.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to leave it on that. Things to look forward to. And again, one of the things, because we are starting in June, don't forget, from our quick hit, starting up that new segment, the re-up. So here's what I am going to say today. So that way at the re-up, we can see if it came true. SpaceX is set to launch another rocket. Now, it's not official, the date, but I have a feeling it's going to be during a Mars and Leo. We talk about explosions. This is all Mars and Leo right here, a rocket. So I actually think that it will happen during Mars and Leo, and I do think that they're going to make it to orbit. So that's their goal. I mean, this is all just testing. I'm going to say they're not
going to make it to orbit.
Okay, we'll see who's right. This is what the re-up's all about. I'm so excited. So you'll want to make a point for that.
Fucking Simone.
Make sure to join, and here we go. You also want to subscribe, turn on alerts, like, and share, so that way when those come out, you're already with us. You know what's happening. And in the description box, you can absolutely find more out about the daily dose and how to get into the goods. All right. I'll see you later, sis.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.